But first, discussions about affordable housing often focus on big, expensive cities like San Francisco and New York. But what about rural America, home to about 1/5 of the U.S. population? John Yang reports on a program improving housing in a remote town in Alabama. It's part of our ongoing series on poverty and opportunity, Chasing the Dream.
Welcome to my house.
Ree Zinnerman was born in this tiny West Alabama town of New Bern, and for her, it will always be home.
It's a peaceful place, and I just like sitting there watching it and listening to the quietness.
Soon, for the first time, she'll move into a real house of her own.
They really did a beautiful job, though.
For more than 40 years, she lived in a mobile home.
That's what I was living in.
Zinnerman's house comes courtesy of architecture students in Auburn University's Rural Studio program.
Words can't describe it. I couldn't believe it. After all these years, something I've always wanted was a house. And I was going to be blessed with a house of my own.
Since 1993, Rural Studio students and faculty have been working, studying, and living in Hale County, Alabama. Some call it a lesson in social design, using architecture to serve the greater good. Rural Studio's director is Andrew Freer.
There's this sort of feeling that everybody deserves good design, and whether they're, rich, poor, black, white, pink, or green.
Zinnerman's house is part of the studio's 20K project, launched in 2005 with the goal of producing residences that would cost $20,000 to build. 20K. More than 24 different homes have been designed, constructed, and given to residents. Most are one bedroom, about 500 square feet. Each design is named for the recipient. There's Johnny May's house, Buster's house, and next to Ree's house, Geraldine's house. That's Zinnerman's younger sister, Geraldine Braxton.
The day he gave me the keys to the door, I couldn't even open the door. I was shaking, so yeah, I was happy.
Braxton has lived here for 2 years. The retired school cafeteria worker loves her kitchen.
I like everything about it. The way it's set up, I like my island in the center of the kitchen.
Braxton's new energy-efficient house puts less strain on her wallet. Her previous home was so poorly insulated it cost her hundreds of dollars a month to keep cool in the summer and warm in the winter.
I was spending like about $350 on gas in the winter every month.
$350 a month?
Every month for gas.
While Rural Studios is helping improve the lives of local residents, the main focus is on training a new generation of architects whose social consciences are as strong as their aesthetics.
What we're trying to do is design a home that is easily built and again, easily maintained. Our goal is to offer it up at some scale down the road, but we're determined to do it quietly and slowly and carefully.
The idea is to give students a hands-on experience working with an underserved community in the heart of the South's Black Belt. Hale County is one of the poorest in the state. 24% of all residents live below the poverty line, compared with about 13% nationwide. For African Americans in the county, the rate is even higher, more than 35%. And in an area short on jobs, the population is dwindling, dropping 6% from 2010 to 2017. Since the students live full-time in New Bern, some 140 miles from Auburn's main campus, they're not seen as outsiders. They're seen as neighbors.
I think it makes a difference by them being part of the community because they have really improved it.
And they asked their neighbors to suggest who could use a new house.
And it was just sad for anybody to be living in that condition in these days and time.
Who better to ask than Gwen Melton, who delivers mail to 483 homes in the New Bern area every day. For 10 years, she's quietly suggested potential clients to Rural Studio.
And how does it make you feel when you go deliver the mail to that new house, knowing what they had lived in before?
It makes me feel great.
The students design and build these houses in the charity model.
The 20K project began with lofty goals. Rural Studio Associate Director Rusty Smith oversees the project.
We thought we were going to work for a year or two or maybe 3, and it would solve all the problems of housing affordability in the United States.
It didn't take them long to realize the hurdles to doing it on a bigger scale.
We're in charge of the financing, and we're in this place where we live, and we've got student labor to do it and the faculty oversight. The challenges to scale, to kind of do this outside of our kind of operational footprint are many.
Still, they want the project to focus attention on the issues facing rural areas, not just in America, but around the world.
It's absolutely a Trojan horse for a whole bunch of issues about rural living that we're very interested in challenging and being a voice for.
For instance, cell service in New Bern is spotty. The town's new library, designed by the Rural Studio, is the only place high-speed internet is available to the public.
It makes you feel real good to be able to say that we have a library.
Librarian Barbara Williams says that when the nearby high school closed 5 years ago, the town lost a community hub.
What the library is trying to do to try to meet some of the needs of the community that are being left unmet with the closing of the high school.
Across the street is New Bern's fire station. Built by the Rural Studio in 2004, it was the first new public building in the town in a century. Pat Braxton lost his job in 2013, where the factory where he worked the next town over went out of business. Now he's a volunteer firefighter and New Bern's handyman. Before, the nearest fire station was 15 minutes away.
By having this truck right here in New Bern, we saved a lot of houses, saved a lot of people's lives.
And saved New Bern homeowners a lot of money, reducing insurance premiums. Like all of Rural Studios' projects, Style also has function. There are no fire hydrants in New Bern, so the fire trucks carry their own water and have to be kept from freezing in the winter.
It's not just it looks funky and it looks cool. It's very much about making sure that those fire trucks don't freeze and that that space is temperate throughout the year.
That's MacArthur's house.
Ree Zinnerman gave students free rein to design her house, except for one detail.
For a red door. And my mom always loved red.
For Zinnerman, the greatest relief is simply having a well-designed, well-built house to live in. For Rural Studio, it's about more than just solving a housing problem.
You know, solving problems, it sort of imagines that the future is broken and it needs to be fixed. I don't think there's anything broken here, but there's some really significant purposes that need to be served.
A lesson for students in helping an underserved community and helping the community learn how to better serve itself. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm John Yang in New Bern, Alabama.